Oh, yeah. Hey, you guys. Welcome to Free Spirit Radio today. I'm super excited to have our beautiful guest and really redheaded soul sister from another mister, I think, because we just wait till you see. But Nikki Pebbles is joining us today. She is the social media ninja and a live stream queen, plus super amazing, energetic dancer, which we'll dive into all of that. But I'm your host, Jaya Rose. And let's just dive right in because here we are.
Yeah, we're here. And you know what's so funny? When I was thinking before, I wanted to say, we're just like soul sisters from another mister. And I just
Shut up. You were going to say that.
God, that's exactly what I said. Oh, that's so funny.
Well, it's so funny, right? Because when you first got on and I had my dance hall music on and I know you were like grooving and I feel like you just sometimes meet people that you have so much in alignment with that one, you could either be like rivals and enemies and we could compare ourselves to each other, or we could just join forces for the good.
Oh yeah, totally. I think more people, you know, what's so interesting is that I feel that competition feeling all over Facebook all the time. I really do. And it drives me nuts how nasty women can be to each other, especially in this online space. And I'm like, guys, remember, like, we're supposed to be helping people, like, you know, like it's supposed to be like positivity. And I'm just not really getting that. So
really
I'm all about collaborating, you know, like why compete?
I feel like it's rare, though, that you actually find someone who's in your niche and doing similar things and maybe even helping similar people. Like, that's the test, right? Because we can say it all day. Okay, I don't believe in competition and I'm in it to win it, until you really line up with somebody. And I feel like that's what happened when you and I met and we had our connection call, where to me, we all want things in common with people, right? Like, that's how we feel bonded.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's just start there, where we uncovered a lot during our call together. Yeah. And I know that you were in fitness and you were a dancer, and now you're doing 100% online with social media and visibility and video and everything, right?
Yeah.
So was there like a point for you that you went all in online and took it really big, or was it gradual? Like, what was your process in starting your business online?
It definitely was gradual, looking back on it, because I always knew the power of online right before I even got into coaching. When I started my first business, I like 7 years ago, I was so fascinated with YouTube and video and things of that nature. And then as I got more into fitness, I started to see, you know, I did online coaching with fitness and health, and that's kind of how I discovered all of this. And I was like, whoa, because I've been doing the social media thing for a really, really long time, but never brought it online. So it was kind of like a gradual thing. Then I went full in, left the online coaching for health and fitness and went like all into live classes in person. And then saw like people messaging me being like, you know, you have a really strong brand. Like, how do you do that? And when I say I've always used video, even before live, I was uploading videos. I've just always been obsessed with videos. I've done music videos and commercials and things like that. So I've always been in front of a camera. I feel my best when a camera is in front of me.
Opposite of most people, but yes.
Yeah, opposite of most people. I just feel really comfortable in front of a camera. So that just kind of, I got to a point with fitness where I just was so burnt out. And I think where the turning point for me was, I had a gym that told me that I gained too much weight, and that they needed me to lose weight to work there. And that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I was like, oh, okay. And literally a month later, I quit the studio I was working at and went full in, actually September, full in to my business last September.
Wow.
And so it was like gradual, but it wasn't like, I was just like, I'm done, and just went straight into this.
Right.
So definitely been a very, very interesting journey as to like how I got to this place.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit of both, gradual and just jumped.
Right. I love what Tony Robbins says. It takes an instant to change, but forever to get to the point where you need to change, you know? So it sounds like that. But now I know you use live video because I think somebody actually tagged you in something of mine about music or something. They were like, oh, you should see what, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know who Nikki Pebbles is, but I always like to watch people who are doing video because that's also what I teach and what I do. And so I'm always like, well, what else, you know, who else is doing it and what else are they doing? Because I feel like, for one, video is amazing. We know,
Absolutely.
right? Like you're like, I love video. I'm like, I love video too.
I love video.
The best thing in the world. And it's also a real point of contention for people. As popular as Facebook Live has gotten, as amazing as it is for your business, for my business, for a lot of people, they are using it. Yeah. But there is this huge gap, which we look for as entrepreneurs, right? I know we kind of talked about that on our call. Yeah. Like, do you feel like it's going to get better? Like, what's your foreshadow with live video and how it's going, how it's trending? Do you feel like people are just going to get on the train at some point, or that there's going to be a rise of people who are willing to really do it and stick with it? And because there's this gap right now, right? People are trying it. There's other people haven't really gotten too huge yet because it has been around long enough. Yeah. But like, what do you think is going to happen?
I really look at live video like almost taking over TV. I actually think that YouTube is going to be like the next TV channel. Not YouTube, sorry. Facebook is going to be the next TV channel. I see YouTube dying down and Facebook taking over that. Facebook is a monster and there's no Facebook Live stars yet. And here's the thing too. I think that some people, and this is just the reality of it, and as someone who teaches live video and teaches how to be confident on video, it's kind of like a weird thing for me to even say, but some people just aren't meant to be on video. And I think that's why live audio, Facebook is so smart. Live audio is now becoming a really big thing. So I think for the people who are like, oh my God, I can't get on video, that really works in their benefit. But live anything, live is just going to take over. I mean, it really is. I think there's definitely value in pre-recorded stuff, but people want to see what is going on right now. So it's almost going to be like the strongest survive. Really, the strongest are going to survive. The people who are willing to figure out the kinks, get it going, strategize now. They're going to reap the benefits of it in the next 1 to 5 years if they really keep steady on it. So yeah,
I agree. It's, you know, do you follow Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So did you see his video yesterday about Facebook groups? He spoke at an event with like leading Facebook group leaders, he was calling them. Yep. Fascinating. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I feel like people are saying like, oh, Facebook groups are dying and there's all these people in the industry who are getting rid of their Facebook groups. And now it's just going to get better. I mean, there are so many things. Every time I watch one of his presentations or he talks about live video or groups or community, and I'm always like, dude, are you actually talking to me? Like, you are paving the way for me and my success and all the women who are rising up. I mean, I feel like this is so much bigger than just live video, just Facebook, but that this is the catalyst, that this is the vehicle, right? For us to take our messages bigger. Yeah.
Well, because here's the thing, all of this it's all tools. You know what I mean? I think people because I'll be honest, I was one of those people in the very beginning who just despised Facebook groups. Like, go back like 1 to 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Facebook groups looked a lot different than they did now, right? It was like people literally built businesses off of going into other people's Facebook groups, not even having their own, just going into other people's Facebook groups.
I know a lot of the people that are high up in the industry now, that's what they did.
So it's a very interesting transition that's going on because now you're seeing a lot of groups who don't allow promo, who don't allow certain things. And I think, and this is whether you have an online business or an offline business, the key to being a successful entrepreneur is to be patient and to be flexible. right? And this is the problem that people, and you could apply this to live video, to Facebook groups, to anything.
To life.
To life. You're not going to hop on Facebook Live and get 50, 500 people, 50 people off the bat. It takes time to grow that. Same thing with your Facebook group. It takes time to grow that. And you have to be able to evolve and be flexible with it. You know what I mean? I think people go into Facebook groups in the wrong direction. You know, it's your business. You figure out what works best for you, not the other way around. So if you don't like what other people are doing in Facebook groups, like this is what I did. I was like, okay, well, I don't like what's going on in Facebook groups. I despise it. So instead of being like, I'm not doing that, I understand the value of it. I understand what it could possibly be. So I made it work for me instead of the other way around, because I understand the absolute value of community. That's everything. Community is everything. So you got to make it work for you than the other way around. Yeah.
Oh, totally. I mean, patience and flexibility. Yes. I call it pivoting, but same difference. Is so important. And I also think it kind of speaks to that comparisonitis where it's so easy to look and see, oh, well, she's got this many people in her group, or she has this many people on her live videos. And it's really easy. I mean, I've done it too, where you just think, oh, it must have just been overnight, or it's just easy for them. And you'd never see the behind the scenes, all of the work, all of the commitment, and how much time it's really taken, even though things can happen very rapidly online. I mean, you can build a 6-figure business in 6 months, a year. And that would be at a very fast pace. I think most people, it takes more like 2 years.
Yeah, totally.
But it is possible. And I think it's this whole apples to oranges that's happening. So do you ever have people contact you that are like, just assuming that it just fell into your lap and don't really understand the work that you put into it?
Oh, I mean, I had someone who made a comment to me, saying that, oh, well, you know, you have a following, so it's different, you know, it's different for you, you know, people don't care about me, you have a following. So, and I was like, listen, first of all, like, I've been working on this following that I have for years. This is not something that just like came up. Like, I don't think people do their research, right? Like, go back, like actually scroll back on people's Facebook pages, pictures. Like, this has been a 7-year work in progress, and I haven't even like touched where I want to be. Like, at all. So, you know, don't assume, right? Don't assume that when you see someone, you know, social media is very deceiving. You really can paint a picture of what you want your life or your business to look like, when in reality, like, behind the scenes, you're like, oh my God, like, you just don't know. You know what I mean? You just don't know. And you have to take it with a grain of salt with everything. But people think that it's just like an overnight type of deal. And that's never the case. I don't believe in overnight successes at all.
No.
At all.
It is faster, and there is way more potential online. But that doesn't mean it's overnight. And it takes, like anything, this is a strange analogy, and I know you haven't had a kid yet, right?
I have a stepson.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't birth him.
No, I did not birth him.
Okay. Well, there's a whole thing that happens with childbirth. It's like, if you have a really fast birth, that's considered like easy, but you still have to go through the whole process. You still have to open it up and get it out, right? And I feel like your business is that. Like, you're a mama to your business. You birth it, and it isn't, no matter if it appears faster or it appears better to somebody, it's obviously, it's all been your journey, and just fast can be harder. Like, let's be real. I see some people and I'm like, okay, so in 3 months now you have, you made $150,000 and you have a team, and and I'm like, my brain would explode if I moved that fast. I need some time to process and then step up, right? Like, we were talking about up leveling, just got on. So let's talk about that for a minute. Like, what has been the progression for you of up leveling? Is there a system in place? And not that system is not a chaotic system, but similar thing happens and you start to recognize, I think that's up leveling. Okay, do you have that going on?
Yeah, it's funny because I get so chaotic during like I used to be one of those people who was like, oh my God, up leveling. Like that can't be real.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because I have one of my best bestie friends is like this amazing spiritual mentor, totally just like taught me around like, listen, you got to learn about this up leveling stuff because it's real and it's happening to you. And I'm like, I know, like I just didn't understand it. But yeah, I think I love the saying, and I'm gonna get it wrong now, but it's when the universe wants you to grow, it makes you so damn uncomfortable that you literally have no choice other than to grow. Like that's it. And that's usually what happens with me is that I'm very stubborn. So I will hold tight to what that I want to do until the universe is like, girlfriend, like
let go.
You gotta go. It's time to grow up. And that's really what's been going on now with me is I've just been in this constant evolution the last year with my business. And I'm very open when it comes to my journey of entrepreneurship. I think that's kind of what separates me out from other entrepreneurs is that I'm never one to be like, oh, everything's so wonderful. Here's my champagne, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. That's not me. I'm the type of person that's like, listen, I woke up with no bra on this morning, crusty eyes, getting on a phone call, being like, ugh, right? Like I'm very honest. I'm very honest about this entrepreneurial journey and what it looks like for me. So with that being said, up leveling wise and evolving, it hasn't been easy. This past year hasn't been easy and learning to put systems in to help me with my business, learning to hire people, learning to, instead of hiring someone to clean my apartment or doing that stuff that I used to be so against. I used to be like, why? And like valuing my time versus like just doing everything.
Yeah.
It's a really big mind shift and huge up level for me, but it's hard. It's not, up leveling is never, I don't look at it as like, yay, I'm up leveling. Like it's hard for me. Like it's hard.
Have you had milestones? Like I know for me, the 10K month was a milestone. And I actually, people have heard this story, but I got really sick for like 2 weeks and I got like everything, like hives and throwing up and like sinus infection, like everything you could get. Right. And then it also happened when I got to the 6-figure mark within the year. And same thing where now I can kind of recognize it. And I'm like, those are signs that I'm expanding. And I find I need a lot of space and a lot more quiet. If I try to just push through it, that doesn't work for me. I'm highly sensitive and I already know that. So I can't push through as much as other people can. But so you found that too, where you just try, it's almost like you're walking in mud. Right. And you're like, okay. And you're like, but normally I can just walk and this just feels good. And now it feels so slow and it feels really, it's resistance. I mean, it's really the definition of resistance. Right. And we don't want to like really energetically, we don't want to change.
No way.
Nobody wants to.
No one wants to change. And this is what we were just talking about before, because the past 4 days, it's literally been like slow motion for me. Because of all the changes that literally the universe is literally like, and listen, whether you believe in the universe, God, a tree, a spoon, I don't care what you believe in. Like at the end, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, whatever you believe in, there's always this type of resistance, right? And it's like your feet are glued to the ground and you're just like, oh, and I've learned to kind of just give into it. Last night I was really trying to like push through and I'm like, oh God, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. Like it was 10:30 at night. And I'm like, I'm just going to wait till tomorrow, get up. And you know, what's funny? I did that. I got up and I banged through all of the procrastination in literally about 2 hours. And I'm like, that wasn't bad. Like, what did I procrastinate this for? So it's just, it sucks. But I think once you're self-aware enough to kind of know that it's going on, you can be a little bit nicer to yourself instead of just
And what if it was built in? Like, these are the things I'm playing with now at this point. For example, I just went and spoke at that event in Minnesota, Celebration Live. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I got back the night before, like, it's reasonable time, right? Like 7:45 p.m. the day before yesterday. And I had 2 things scheduled yesterday, but not until the afternoon, starting at 3 p.m. So the way that looked to me on paper, I was like, great, I have the whole morning. I have a 3-year-old and a husband and a house, and I cleaned the bathroom. Like, I think that we never really take into account all of the energy that life takes from us and how important it is. And so I'm still learning. I'm like, you know what? I need a whole day. And even though I took the day off from my business for 4 days, and like my mind is like, I need to get back to it, I was like useless. Like, literally, there was no use for me to even try. And so, like, what if I just built that into my life? Like, what if we started prioritizing at such a deep level, the up leveling, the feelings, how we feel, and really, think about, I feel like that's ultimate superpowers.
Oh, without it, self-awareness is so huge. It's so huge. And knowing when that up level happens, or knowing, like, I know for me, when I was really doing the one-on-ones, I would look at my calendar, and if I saw I had like 4 or 5 calls in one day, I instantly had this feeling of, ugh, ugh. And I had to learn for myself that that's not my jive. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make me light up. I have to have it more spread out. I have to be able to be out more. Being at home doesn't work for me all the time. I need to be out. So I think the more self-aware that you can be in those up-level moments, or just a day-to-day life, and be a little bit nicer to yourself, right? It's okay to be nice to yourself. And, I know so many people are like, go, 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 go. And you gotta go, 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 but also be mindful that, like, you can go, go, go and totally burn yourself out. And then what good does that do? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta know how you operate, and then go from there. I think it's the idea of time, and knowing how to squeeze the most out of your time. Versus just like thinking that you have to do it all, right? Just get the most out of 3 hours as you can, and then work your way from there, if that makes sense.
No, totally, because it's the energy that you bring to those 3 hours. I could take 8 hours and piddle around and be distracted and get on and off Facebook and not really have a plan. But when I'm like really in alignment with my energy, because I nurtured myself, because I did the things that make me feel good, and I come in with a renewed energy. And I feel like it's just so easy to get into that mindset that we have to do it, that we have to keep going. And ultimately, especially when you're using live video. So tell me what you feel about that. But I have this really strong commitment to showing up on live video in my best. Perfect. Because my best is not perfect. But it's better than a lot of other ways I could be, right? It's just better than. And so, I know for me what that takes, but do you have anything like a practice around it, or things that if you're going to be doing a live video that you need to do X, Y, and Z?
It's interesting because with live video, I just do. Like I've done a live video where I literally just got out of the shower and I had like that towel around my head and no makeup on, and I just go. Because that's kind of how I treat it. I look at it as like, here, come, like, I have like a no judgment zone. So I totally understand showing up at your best, and I totally get it and jive with that too. But I also think that a lot of people make so many excuses as to not getting on live video that if you condition yourself to be like, you know what, I am going to show up and I'm going to do, and I guess that comes from an entertainer point of view, because I grew up in an industry where it was like a switch. Right? I could be having a horrible day, but I knew if I had to get in front of that camera that I couldn't show up. Like, I had to be like, hey, everyone. And so I guess in a way I'm trained to feel that way, right? Like when I know I have to show up, I have to show up. But I think there's pros and cons to both of it. I think being able to just condition yourself to be on and go is a really powerful thing. And I think once you get that idea where there's no fear around pressing that live button, then you can go into like, okay, I'm going to show up. I feel good. I look good. And now I'm going to do this. So I do think there is a process. I kind of just go. Like, that's kind of just my thing, is I just go and just do it.
I can totally see that. I feel like that's so what you teach, and also what I teach, in the essence of like, figure out what works for you and be you, because that's working for you. But then I see some people where it's like a dark room and it's a messy top knot, and like it's not the best quality of even sound or whatever. And it's like, you say, you can really go either way with it. You're like, well, good, at least you're doing it. But then you're like, but that's your brand. And if you want to have a 6-figure, multiple 6-figure, 7-figure brand, how do you show up for that?
And that's a really, so here's the thing, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because here's the thing too. I'm all for just showing up, but also realize the two most important things when it comes to video are sound and lighting.
Yes.
So sure, get to the point where you can just go live, but let me tell you something, my lighting is always good and my sound is always good. Even if that means that I look like a hot mess that day. People want to hear you, right? Yes. People aren't going to get annoyed. Oh, look at, she has no makeup on, but they're going to get annoyed if they can't hear you. Then you're not, just like a kind of like pet peeve type of thing. So it doesn't have to be expensive. You know what I mean? Like, I went to Best Buy and got this cute little lighting kit and microphone for, I think it was like $60. Or you could go on Amazon and get, you can get all of this stuff. It's so attainable. It's not expensive.
Yes. Let's give a couple. Do you have any like products or tips you want to give people? Because I'll show. Let me grab my microphone. This is a great tip. So you give one.
Yeah, totally. So I use, and I can actually I want to pull it up, but the microphone that I personally use when I go live on my computer is this one. This is a Blue Snowball.
Cool.
This was $50 from Best Buy.
Wow.
Super easy. You plug it in. I love it. I think you get great sound quality from it.
It sounds good.
Yeah, I love it. So I have this. Then I got I'm lying. 3 umbrella lights from Amazon for $50, which is like stupid. Like,
wow.
Stupid cheap. And they're obviously, I'm not using them right now because I'm using natural light, but they're flipping amazing. And then there's one, and I'm not going to be able to remember it off the top of my head. And of course, I don't have it near me. Oh, Insignia. If you go on bestbuy.com, I'm a huge Best Buy fan. Like, I get everything from Best Buy. Insignia, and it's the cell phone lighting and sound kit. If you just Google that, it'll come right up. And it comes in a really cute black bag, and it comes with a tripod. You get a lighting kit. You get 5 lenses for your phone. So if you're looking to take pictures too, this is like an excellent thing to do. And then you get a little microphone that you clip in. And you get a clicker to take pictures, so like a shutter thing.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, I'm pretty sure it was like maybe $60 to $80.
That's amazing.
So worth it. It's amazing, especially if you're going mobile off your phone, going live off your phone. This is excellent to get. And it's Insignia. It's just the mobile light and sound kit, and you just get it off the Best Buy. But those 3 things. It's so amazing and really does help a lot.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love the natural light. I have I'm in the basement right now.
Yeah.
So I have like 2 basement windows, but I use a big umbrella light because otherwise, so I always use that as well. Yeah, I agree. Sound and light is huge. I mean, content really matters as well.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Of course. Content is king.
We probably can't really teach all of that in this moment, but I love this. I use a Sony. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a little lavalier, and I've been using it for like 2 years, and it's perfect. The only issue with it is you can't hear out. So, for example, I couldn't use it right now because I wouldn't be able to hear you. But if I'm just recording something, it just plugs into your phone.
Nice.
Amazing. So I use it, and I actually have when I was teaching fitness, I had like a a 5 or 10 foot adapter so you could like go really far away from the camera with it, which is kind of cool too.
I had when I was teaching fitness, I had one of those like Janet Jackson microphones where like it was like the wireless one that you
yeah.
Oh man, I was like, yeah,
you thought you were so cool.
Girl, I did. I thought I was like the ish. I'm like, this is amazing. So
Isn't that awesome though? I feel like there's stuff like that where you're just like, I'm amazing. Yeah, that's how I felt when I got this microphone for the computer. And this one is not as cheap, but the lavalier I believe is like 30 or 40 bucks. It's a Sony and it's amazing. I got it on Amazon. So cool. I love those tips.
That stuff off of Amazon. Like it does. I think a lot of people think that this stuff has to be very expensive to get started. And it really doesn't. Like
I wouldn't get started without it. I mean, I have a props list in my Rock Your Videos course and I'm like, you need to get these things. These things are important because I totally agree that it's like the behind the scenes, and I will get on without makeup and I will cry and I will be vulnerable, right? It's real, like I call it #real AF. It is it's real. And at the same time, you know, this is my business. This is my livelihood. This is my career. And so how do I pay homage to that? The same way I always have. Even, for example, when I taught fitness, I showed up like I had some makeup on. Like I wanted to present myself. And so I feel like,
I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day, is you're providing an experience, you're providing a feeling towards people. So no, I totally get it. I totally understand.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean sometime. I think it's more about what you do most of the time, and just, you know, I think people get caught up in being perfect, and it's this fine line. It's about like giving it your all and then like not really caring.
It is. It's because, you know, that's always the question that I get from people is, you know, like, well, you know, do I have to, because there are some people who like go all out, right? And I think you're right. There is a super fine line between being real, right? And showing up when you want to show up, and then also presenting yourself in a certain manner. And I think it also comes down to like what your brand is too. Like I definitely, when I work with, you know, different brands, whether that is like a company or a personal brand, I do want to seem, of course I want to seem professional. I think there's a balance, you know, there's a really fine line between, you know, showing up and looking like a homeless person or like, you know, you got to find that balance, and you got to find what works best for your brand and represents your brand the best way.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So we actually have Tara on with us.
Cool.
Tara, if you want to come on and get a little coaching from me and Nikki, will you just let me know here in the comments or raise your hand? And then I will promote you. She's in! Yes. All right. I'm promoting you to a panelist. You want to come on and get a little coaching from me and Nikki. That was weird. Okay. Technical difficulty.
There we go.
Hi, Tara. All right. I'm going to unmute you. Would you like to be on video, Tara?
Sure. I'll put on my tripod. Hold on a sec.
Okay.
Oh, Tara. Hi.
Yeah, hi, Boo.
Okay, I asked you to start video, so now you'll be able to start your own video.
Okay. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared for
okay, this. No worries.
Hold on.
We can hear you, so you're good.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Welcome.
Thank you. I can't really see myself, but that's okay.
It's okay. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
So what's happening? What did you have some questions that came up during the talk, or is there something that's been going on for you lately? Like, just spill it, girl.
Actually, it's funny. I was listening in for Nikki, because like I've actually like Nikki, how long have we been working together, Nikki? She was my coach for
like a what? For like 3-4 months.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I think it was interesting, the talk about the Facebook groups, because I actually made a decision not to do a Facebook group and instead choose a paid membership site. to start from there. So kind of just what you think about that. What do you think about paid membership sites versus Facebook groups? Like, is that the way to go, or I don't know. I know we talked about this, Nikki.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because, like I said, there's been a huge shift in the whole group atmosphere. There really has. And I think a lot of people I've seen saying, like, I'm sick of giving away the free value and not getting the turnaround and people taking advantage of that. And I get it. I think that there, like I said before, there is a huge advantage to having community. And I think if you don't want to do a Facebook group, you know, to be able to build a community someplace, whether that's in Instagram or whether that is in a separate place, I think for me, like, I have a very much a heavy community on my personal page and in my Facebook group. I've been able to grow both of those. So there is such power in that. And I think the main thing in Facebook groups, if you just step away from it, is just growing an audience. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the power of the audience. And once you have an audience, you can kind of swerve wherever you want. And I think that's not really being talked about, right? Is the importance of growing an audience, and what does that look like, and how do you do that, which live video does that, but yeah. Nonetheless, right, like growing that audience is so essential. And that's why a Facebook group does work in that, right? Because then you could take them someplace. But I think in essence, it just comes down, once you have the audience, you can do anything, right? You can do the paid Facebook group, the paid membership. You could do really essentially whatever you want. But it's the growth of the audience that really drives that up.
I love that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Tara, why do you not want to do a Facebook group, and why do you want to go right for a membership? And what is the cost of your membership?
I've been told that I actually charge too little for my membership site for what I'm offering.
Okay.
One, I actually posted about this, 2 reasons. The first being I was really tired of Facebook groups personally.
Okay.
Mostly Facebook, because you get thrown into all of them. They all seem the same way, and I just wanted to go a different route. And then the second one, I actually said about this was building a safe space outside of social media, because the membership site that I've created is called Body Truth. So it's literally making a pact with your body. And I find social media can have a huge impact on women and their bodies. So that's why I decided, like, I need a safe space where there's less distraction. So I guess that was most of the reason, but the number one reason was I'm really tired of Facebook groups. Not to put downer on anybody's Facebook groups, but I was just I'm going to do it. And I didn't want to talk myself out of it, because I have those things where I'll talk myself out of it, but it's a $10 monthly membership.
Wow. Yeah. I totally agree with what Nikki was saying. I feel like you can do that. I mean, anything can be done, right? You can go look back at successful people and say, well, what got them there? And it's going to be everyone's going to have a different story. So you can create your own story. And it sounds to me like you have 2 avenues, right? You have the paid membership, which is so inexpensive that would almost feel like that's your audience. But anytime you're charging money, it's not your audience. Those are your customers or your clients, right? And so there has to be this other stream, whether you use your business page and again, Facebook Live, but you'd have to pay to play if you're using your business page, which is fine, but have a really smart way to leverage and pull people in through a funnel into the lower cost versus just offering the lower cost, right? So we need to lead them through, or using your personal page, using value-driven live videos. But either way, I would be looking at it 2 separate lanes.
Okay, because I do live videos. Yeah. And I've been building an audience from there. So I just didn't see it as that, I guess you're right. You do have your tribe that comes on and they listen to the value that you're giving. So yeah, I like that actually, what you just said.
Nice. Yeah, and then you have to have a way to pull people in, right? Because you can have an audience all day, right, Nikki? We could probably jam about that for hours. It's like you can have a huge audience, and sometimes you see people like that on social media. You would never know behind the doors. They're not making any money, because making money and monetizing your following is different than just having a following.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, and I think that a lot of people in Tower, we've talked about this. It's like people don't ask, right? There's no, I think people are very scared to ask for people to go places, right? So whether that's doing a live stream and saying, hey guys, I have a program, click on this link to get it. Or, hey guys, I have an email list, click on this link to be a part of it. Or whatever, fill in the blank as to like where you want them to go. But people don't ask enough, and you'll see people who have huge followings, and this is very apparent on Instagram too. People have 100K followings, yet they don't do anything with it. So you can have the audience, but then what are you going to do with the audience? Like where are they going? What are you doing with it? So I think that's a really, really great point. You got to lead them someplace. Where
tie it in. Yeah. I think for you, if you're doing live video, I would just brand yourself as the community girl, as the positive body image, or whatever your core message is. And a great way to ask without it being salesy, and you can tell me, Nikki, if you do this too, but it's like at the beginning of the video and at the end of the video, people expect there to be a beginning and an end, right?
Yeah.
So start it with, hi, I'm Tara. I'm the creator of, my mission is, you can find me at.
Yeah.
And then that's just an introduction, but when people hear that repetitively enough, and then you can always at the end invite them into something that's either free, or if it's like, maybe you do $1 to join and then $10 for the rest. And then that's a very low, non-salesy offer. I mean, I think that would be fine to do on your personal page. I wouldn't really do there's a lot of offers I wouldn't do on your personal page, right? Because it's not going to be well received.
Yeah.
People don't want to be asked for money when they're your Facebook friend. They want to be your Facebook friend. They might want to idolize you, but they don't want to pay you money. they don't totally know it yet, right? So like, you got to it's the warmth, the warming up phase. So yeah, I think you could create that just inside of repetition in your videos.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Yay. Well, good luck. That's a great mission. And I know we were going to talk, Nikki, about body image and just entrepreneurial weight gain. And so maybe we'll touch on that for a minute here. So Tara, stay and listen. And thanks a lot for hopping on.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope that was helpful for you.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Okay, perfect. So yeah, it's probably, you said you were like, maybe this is going to be a take 2 on this. Coming soon, entrepreneurial weight gain, which is a real thing. Okay.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the having the baby thing. Everything else gets put on hold,
Totally.
It's a crazy thing, but so let's say that's to be continued.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Sounds good. And one thing I really love to find out here at the end, I have kind of a core question. So you're making an impact already. You're showing up. You're doing your thing. You know why you're doing it. You know what your core message is. But how do you think that translates in terms of how people feel? So like you're done with your live video. You've left the room. You've left the building. How do you really want people to feel from your impact?
Confident. But I think at the end of the day, because I do a lot of different things, right? I am the pure definition of a multi-passionate entrepreneur. Yeah. And I think the thing that threads it all together is that I really just want people to feel confident in themselves and love themselves, because I've struggled with that my entire life, hating who I was, wanting to be someone that I wasn't, right? And then I think once you make that shift, oh my God, I mean, your life, not to sound cheesy, but your life will literally change when it does that. So I think for the most part, whether I'm talking about live video, branding, social media, whatever the case is, I just want people to walk away knowing that they can trust themselves and that they literally can do whatever they set their mind to, as long as they are confident in themselves.
Yeah, I love it. So powerful. And in this online space, so needed.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it could be, yeah, it's easy to say, but it's not as easy to do. So it's amazing that you're being there and shining that light. And I feel like people feel that from you. They feel it just from being in your presence because you're doing it. And what happens is they get permission to do it.
Yeah, totally. And that's it. I mean, you know what I mean? If I could at least have one person who was like, listen, I watched you for a while and I did X, Y, and Z and I feel more comfortable in my skin. Like that's, I know so many people say that if I help one person, I'd be happy. Yeah. But that, like that literally is how I feel. You know, I've always said that since I was younger, that I know that I've always just been meant to help women. I just never really, you know, when you're in elementary, junior high, you have no idea what that concept is. But I've always known that was really kind of my purpose. And now as an adult, it's like, I can't see myself doing anything else but being that, to have a platform to help women feel confident in themselves.
Yeah, I love it. Yay. Thank you so much for being here and shining your light and doing the work you do and showing up. You are amazing.
Thank you. I love you so much.
Yay! Okay, you guys. Bye.